Yay, we're recording. Happy Tuesday, guys. Um, as I was just saying before we actually started recording, it's Tuesday, it's payday, it's auto bonus day. We just had a fabulous weekend, all you mommies out there. Hopefully had some Mother's Day celebrations. And um, I said on the last Zoom I did, I'm like, you're either in two categories. You're either in category A, where you like to just be alone Mother's Day, like that's your gift. Or your team B, where you like all the noise and the loud and all your kids around. I got to do both because I we kind of celebrated on Monday because all of the restaurants around here were crazy busy. So the kids are like, we'll just take you out Monday. But it was awesome. Nice weekend. Um, and we just are coming off of probably the biggest high ever because the weekend before, all of us were at our amazing conference. How many of you guys were there? Let us know in the chat. And how many of you guys are still on that conference high when you leave? That we have this many 200Ks, like over 100 200Ks I've been able to interview. And it's just insane hearing people's stories and their journeys. And I think why this Zoom has become so popular is because it's not just fluff, right? We get to really dig in and hear somebody's story, and not just the good things that happen, but some of the things that we run into too, because it doesn't matter what rank you are, at some point you hit hard things, right? And I mean, even as 200Ks, you hit hard things, and it's about what you do when you hit those hard things to overcome them, and push through, that really signifies your success. And I'm excited because I've actually had I believe last year I was able to interview Rachel, and she volunteered again. And I'm like, yes, because we have so many new people that have joined that have no idea about Rachel's story. So I'm excited. And Rachel, if you want to unmute yourself, I'm going to apologize right now and ask you to say your last name before I screw it up.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rachel Woratschka.
Yes, I did this to you last time. I'm like, why can't I say this name? I'm not even going to try. I still can't say it. Okay.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
I want to thank you so much for hopping on today and sharing your story. And it's so good. So I can't wait for other people to hear it. And I mean, man, it's been a year since I interviewed you, so a lot can happen in a year. But I would love to start with kind of the beginning of what did you do before you got into this industry? And then as far as this industry goes, how did you find network marketing? Like, is Lavelle your first gig? And then how did you find Lavelle? And then we'll kind of go from there.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. I love that I get a chance to be on here and kind of fill an entire other team's cup with just another story. And I think my biggest thing is overcoming. It's been my journey since the very beginning. And so I love that you guys talk about struggles and just different things that you've overcome to be here and are here now. But for Thrive, my story started with kind of probably similar to others, just all of a sudden started watching a friend talk about it on Facebook. So, and I was that person that, and I'm still that person. It's like I have to watch something happen for a while before I get on board, and kind of have to sit back and think, oh, there's nothing to that. I mean, I do that with fashion. I do that with anything. I have to be skeptical first. And I did watch a friend post for about 6 months, and she reached out to me every single month for 6 months. So my story begins in a way that I love to share, never giving up on that person that continues to say no. I actually have a background in health and fitness. It's my degree. I went to Iowa State University. I am originally from Iowa, and I live up in northern Wisconsin. And so I was a chicken list person to my friend, because I was the person who knew about health and nutrition, and she was an accountant, and her husband was a construction worker, and that really wasn't their thing. What their thing was is they took Thrive and they felt amazing, so they were sharing about it. But finally, I just decided after saying no for 6 months, very politely, but I was the person that said, no, I work out and I eat healthy. Okay, so if you guys have any of those people, don't give up on them. They don't know what they don't know. Oh my goodness. I didn't know. So finally, I took a sample from Tiffany, and I definitely was drinking a lot of coffee before Thrive. I'm a mom of 2 boys. My boys were 2 and 4. I have a 2-year-old that is like a hurricane. And I just remember, even since the day he came out of my body, I was thinking, holy crap, like, how am I going to do this? I only had 2 boys, but he was just like such a handful. And my energy was so low, you guys. It didn't matter if I was eating good or I was exercising, I was drinking my water. I was a low energy person. I had aches and discomforts in my back. I had headaches on almost a weekly basis, but I was fine, right? How many of our friends are fine? We are. And I was looking for a nap in my cubicle. Before this, Lisa, I was actually in marketing. I was in sales and marketing for the local radio station. So I did digital marketing and I did on-air broadcast marketing. And before that, I worked for a couple different nonprofits, American Lung Association. I've always worked in like fundraising and the health area until I came up to Wisconsin and I worked for the radio station. And one of my holdbacks of starting Thrive was it felt like my friend wanted me to sell it. And I remember thinking, like, I sell all day, guys. Like, this is cool. I'll take the Thrive and I'll give it a shot. But I'm a salesperson and I don't want to sell one more thing. Well, until we get the Thrive in our body. And then your mind changes. So you guys, when somebody says to you, like, yeah, I'll take it, but please don't push me to sell it. You just say, that's cool. That's good. I'm not going to do that, because things will automatically, naturally change when they start to take Thrive. I mean, the products are the best salesperson. So that was kind of me before Thrive. And I was working, I worked for 8 years at the radio station. And then I actually worked full time promoting Thrive on the side for 1 year. And then decided to leave for a little while.
Yay. And you get to do this full time. It's so awesome, right? And I would like, let's kind of talk a little bit about like the time frames of all your ranks. Cause I kind of like people to see, if you got stuck in any spot, or did you go super fast or slow? What did that look like? Did you get your VIP bonuses? How long to go 4K and then 12K, 40, 80, and 200?
This is why I feel like it's super important to lead and kind of push. I mean, I don't know what the best word is, but like lead them to the bonuses, even if they say they don't want it. Because again, I didn't know what I didn't know, but I knew the Thrive was working in my body. I knew that I felt alive again. I knew I was driving to work, like dancing super hard in my car, more than normal. It's kind of normal for me. I I knew that things were changing. I knew that my body was changing. And so even though I wanted nothing to do with selling, I wouldn't let Tiffany shout me out. Okay. I wouldn't let her even tag me in a Facebook post. I want you guys to think about like what I'm saying, because I know you're going to come across people like me. But she was actually shouting me out in her team page, because I started to get referrals, because people were noticing the difference in me. And when an acquaintance actually reached out to me and didn't know I was thriving. I never said anything about Thrive because I was in the closet, remember? She was like, "Are you taking a parenting class?" And I'll never forget that, because it was like, no, I'm thriving, but I legit looked like I was enjoying parenting more on Facebook. So I did hit my VIP 800 bonus. Then I hit my VIP 1600 bonus. And then I hit the 4K and, the 30-day bonus. And it really was because I was on fire about how I felt. Lisa, I don't have any background in network marketing. This is my very first business like this, although I was in a makeup and skincare company in my early 20s, because I just loved putting makeup on people, but I never took it seriously. I never knew anything about the comp plan. I actually probably almost earned a car, but again, it was because of my passion of what I was doing. And this was no different. I wanted as many people as possible to know what this felt like. And I had no idea how I got paid. I didn't even care. The money was coming in on Tuesday. I just kept waking up thinking, oh my gosh, like the product kept selling me. I did hit 12K in 4 months. But I'm going to say that at the 12K, guys, is when it really starts to get to the point where you're working a full-time job and you're doing this, that you feel the heat, like you feel the pressure. And this is what I'm realizing in my business. Once you get between like 4K, 12K, and a little bit above is when people feel like, oh my goodness, I'm not sure I can do this, and balance it all. So keep that in mind. You know, everything's hunky dory and you think, oh my gosh, they're so excited they earned a car. And I was, but I remember one day saying to Tiffany, I don't know if I can continue doing this. I'm super overwhelmed. And she said to me, it's okay, Rachel. Take a breath, take the night off. We'll talk tomorrow. Those were pretty life-changing words to me because she knew, and now I know, Thrive would sell me again in the morning. And no matter how overwhelmed I felt, I would wake up, I would take my 3 steps, and dang it, I couldn't help myself. I couldn't help myself because of those 3 steps and how I felt. So that was my first, kind of probably feeling of a roadblock, like how was I going to do this along my full-time job? And it really was her just having patience with me, but locking me into going into events. You guys, I went to 4 months in was probably when I went to my first event, and I had already earned a car, and I didn't even know how much better it could get. If you're not showing up at the events or meeting people face to face, obviously that's been a little bit different, but we're getting back there. You have no idea still how awesome this is. I earned my husband's bonuses as well, and then a car bonus 6 months mark, and then we hit 200K at 12 months exactly. And that's when I went on my very first lifestyle getaway and quit my job. So October of 2015 was like a whirlwind of a month, you guys, because all these things were happening and I was still getting sold on. I still was probably not even sold on this business model yet, even at hitting that point in the company. So it just gets better.
It does just get better. How long have you been in now?
So I've been thriving for 6.5 years. I started in October of 2014, and then I quit my job October of 2015, and so I've been doing this full time 5.5 years.
So you were here when we had like not that many products. It's probably
Right.
been so cool to watch this grow, and just like, going probably to your first conference and seeing the amount of people there compared to, I mean, where we were just a couple years ago at that conference, like 20,000 people or something. It's crazy to think about. You're kind of a pioneer of this. Like you were here in the beginning stages. And honestly, in network marketing, a company that's 9 years old is still the beginning. Like most companies don't even see their stride till like 20 years in. So we're still all kind of in the beginning of watching this thing unfold, and it's so cool. And I think a lot of people think, I mean, let's be honest, a year to a year to 200K is fast. Most people aren't going to do that. It's going to take more time. It just is. But you also, even though you never did network marketing per se, you already had that experience of sales. You did already have that experience of connecting and building relationships. And, some people come into this and they've never done anything like this before. So obviously it's going to take them a little bit longer to make connections and build a network and all of that, those things, and to gain people's trust and whatever. But that's fast to 200K. And then now since then, you've been sitting at 200K for like at least what, 4 years, 4.5 years as a 200K. And I think a lot of people think, oh, it's just so easy once you get there. It's smooth sailing. None of these things happen to 200Ks. Like they don't lose people. They don't, have upline or downline issues. They don't lose bonuses or miss bonuses, and they don't lose rank or go down in value. Like I just think that people think that it's just so easy. I think people think people just knock at my front door. Can I sign up with you? Like it gets harder because you run out of your network and you've got to do these things. And obviously as your team grows, problems arise. More problems come as it gets bigger, and you've got to learn how to handle those things. And then as a 200K, sometimes we fall into management mode because we're helping so many people that we don't run our own businesses. What are some of the things that stick out to you over the last 4 years that you've had to overcome, some maybe things that have happened to you personally or your team, and maybe just some lessons learned and how you overcame those things.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, I just first off like to address the whole like that, yes, it was fast that we went to 200K and it was kind of in the beginning but nothing really kind of burns me more than when people say like you got lucky because you were in the beginning of the company. And I'm thinking to myself, if that was the case, everyone that started with me would be a 200K with me, right? I mean, actually what happened is, yes, there are some good things that, hearing about it right away, 2 years into the company. But the thing is that I just never stopped and never gave up. And if we were all starting around that same time, I mean, even 2015, 2016, 2017, I've seen so many people just start and stop, start and stop, start and drop away. And I think to myself, like the difference is not luck. The difference is like I push through all the ups and downs. And that gets you to 200K, not just, hanging out, like you said, and people are knocking on my door. It's like waking up every single day with intense conviction and realizing that like almost all of my day is going to be spent having conversations with people. Um, was a lot of things. I First off, I started a company, a different network marketing company, right before Thrive was introduced to me, you guys. So if any of you are coming from different companies or had just started a company and you were posting about it and you were excited about it, and then all of a sudden Thrive came in your life and you're like, oh, because now I love Thrive and what am I going to do? What are they going to think about me? That was me too, and the thing that I've always stuck with is like I can't care what other people think. I have to go with my heart. And I could have just backed away and said, I just started another company and now I'm going to post about Thrive and I'm already in sales. What are people going to think? They're going to think I'm just trying to sell them. But I knew that that wasn't the case. I knew that in my heart of hearts, this product was changing my life and how I felt. And I was no longer waking up hurting and sad. And I couldn't keep that gift away from other people. So you have to throw out the whole like, well, what if, or what if this person thinks this? And, because none of this would have happened if it would have just been stuck on what other people were saying. At work, I had people saying, oh, I tried that stuff. It didn't work. Okay, fine. It's working for me. I got in a text message thread accidentally with friends, my best friends, that were talking about me and saying like, oh my gosh, she recruited another person. There she goes with her cult again. Mm-hmm. And I was on the text thread and I was like, was this meant for me? Was I supposed to be on this? So for about 24 hours, I was like, okay, like my best friends are talking about me. But again, I knew the stories. I woke up every day. My Thrive was rocking my world. I knew what was happening around me. And I had to decide, am I going to worry about the, uneducated people? They just don't know what they don't know yet, because that was me, or keep going. And yeah, Lisa, at 200K, it doesn't get any easier. Like it doesn't even change at all, except that you have other people that you are helping get to their goals and you're still trying to do your own stuff. So it is really hard, but it's worth it. My mom was diagnosed with cancer shortly, maybe a year after I hit 200K and I had quit my job. It actually might have been that same year, you guys. It was like legit eerie because I thought, holy crap, if I wouldn't have had faith in just deciding to step away from my job and go with Lavelle, because one of my biggest questions was, you guys, what if Lavelle goes away? What if I put all my eggs in this basket? What if they disappear? Well, what if they don't? So here we are, and we're still here. And I had the ability to go to the hospital and sit with my mom and take her to her appointments, which I wouldn't have been able to do in a full-time job, that basically I had tied to, I only had so much time off. So that was one of the things. A lot of life things have happened to me. As I sit here right now, I'm just basically waiting for my grandma to pass away. She hasn't eaten in 16 days. She has dementia, and I've lost a lot of people in my life, even before Thrive. Losing my dad to pancreatic cancer when he was 57 was one of my driving factors of why I do what I do. Now I get to wake up and I get to help people with their quality of life so that before they die, whenever that's going to be, because we can't control a lot of that stuff, they're going to live big. They're going to feel good. They're just going to like kick butt in their day so that there's no regrets. And that's how I want to help people live. So even as I'm thriving, I'm losing people. I'm going through different deaths. And of course that took a toll probably on my business. I remember when my mom was in the hospital, you guys, I had to kind of step away for a couple of days and be like, you know, I'm not really going to be too present right now. But how amazing is that? You know, if you duplicate a team with just a really solid why, it's not going to matter if I step away for a couple of days or a week or whatever I need to do for my family. That's why we do what we do, because they're going to have conviction in what they're doing, picking and, you know, making sure that you have that strong reason of why you're doing it. I don't want anyone to do this because for me, right? And I'm sure all of you guys feel that same way. Like if your team members say, well, I'm doing this for you, well, that sucks because that's going to go away, right? It has to be for you. So definitely, definitely dealing with probably more like mental health challenges for me. A lot of those things run in my family. So obviously Thrive changed my life, keeping me positive and mentally healthy through the winters and all that stuff. But I have a lot of ups and downs, and that's something that I deal with, you know, of staying motivated. But I will say this, I always have to put a plug in. I mean, Thrive helps me exercise on a daily basis. And exercise is what keeps me positive and solid and like really feeling good about this business. So it has helped me in all those different ways. Lisa, we haven't really lost any large legs, but we did have before 2020, we did have some people move away to a different business. And I remember just kind of not really panicking, but thinking, whoa, okay, you know, we're seeing part of our team just kind of disappear. And what we decided, or what I decided, was loving people where they're at. It's always been kind of what Maria has led with, and it is what I choose to lead with, is that I don't burn bridges. Heck no. Like, I'm going to be here solid for every single person, no matter where they go, no matter where they fade off to, no matter what things they have to go through, deaths, different businesses, whatever. I'm not going anywhere, and I'm going to, you know, I have open arms for everybody. So, no bridges were burned, and in fact, many people came back.
It's
Because they
crazy how many people come back, right? Like
totally,
I read like 2 years ago, there was a 200K leg under me and like a 200K and 80K, and they all left to go to another company. And it is crazy. I'm the same way. It's like, you know what? If this isn't your path anymore, that's okay. If that's how you feel. It sucks because I hate watching people do it because I already know the outcome. I'm like, oh man, they're gonna regret this. But love people where they are, because we've had so many people come back. And actually, I'm watching now this 200K that left that had you all know Twin. If you guys know who Twin is, Twin was under this person, and they are kicking themselves in the butt now. Like, and
that
they are
sucks.
on to they're on to like their fifth company too. And it's crazy because it's like you we think the grass is greener. Well, you know that saying, the grass is green where you water it. I mean, it's going to take time. This business is going to take time, and you've got to push through. Like, look at all the things you push through. You know, there's people on this very Zoom right now that they just had someone pass away, or they are in a place where they've lost some team members, or, you know, whatever it is. And instead of letting it fuel their fire to push harder, they are letting it bring them down and using it as an excuse really not to push. You know, like, this is why I can't push. And that's, I think, kind of the difference when I get people on this call and I listen to all these different 200Ks. They all have that same drive where these walls that they hit, they don't let those walls bring them down. I mean, we're all human. We're all going to have those days where we're like, man, this sucks. I don't even want to do this. And you might disappear for a day, maybe even two. But then you put your big girl panties on and you're like, okay, we got to jump back in, because whatever's going on in life, you've got to keep going. I mean, you have to, I always kind of refer it to a normal job. I mean, if I worked any job anywhere and had a boss, I'd still have to go to work if someone passes away. I'd still have to go to work if my kids were messed up. I'd still have to go to work if I had this issue, that issue, or this issue. And that's the beauty, like you said, you were able to take some time because you work so hard in a business with residual income. You were able to take some time when your mom was sick to be with her. And that's what this is all about. That's why we work so hard to push through those things. And have you ever felt like, I mean, have you ever felt like your business stalled out and you're like, what is going on? Why is this not moving forward? And like, I
Yeah.
kind of want to talk about that a little bit because I know in my inbox lately, it's like bonuses are over. And now there's people, you said it. You've watched this now for, 6 years. People are in it and then they're out, and then they're in and then they're out. And what I've noticed is I call them, they're bonus folks. When Lavelle now announces a bonus, all of a sudden they come out from hibernation. And as soon as the bonus season is over and they don't get the bonus, they go back into hibernation. And they're only motivated by those bonuses. But the thing they don't realize is that if they're not consistent, when there's no bonuses, they're never going to get a bonus because you can't just jump in when there's bonuses. Like, I kind of want to talk about that a little because I think there's so many people that felt defeated. They were all excited and then they just didn't, it wasn't their time. They didn't grab a bonus and now they're in this funk because I've had it in my inbox and they're like, well, it didn't happen and maybe this isn't for me. Like, I don't know where I'm going with this, but let's talk
Yeah.
about it a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah. So a couple of things. I I have, we've probably just kind of like leveled out, right? We haven't taken huge dips in our, we hit $1 million a month probably 3 years in where we were billing that. And then now we've kind of like settled, and I'm a tiny team, compared to yours. But it kind of just stays there, right? And I was like, why are we not growing? I just thought this would like keep going. And that's just been a matter of, people coming in, out, in, out, in, out. But my problem is I kind of wonder typically because I'm extremely driven and I'm pretty much like over the top um, passionate about life. And I think it's just because I've had those hardships that drive me that I'm kind of like, why are you giving up? Like, what in God's name makes you feel like all of a sudden you don't deserve what you wanted 30 days ago? Like you said this is what you were going to do and this is what you wanted, and why did you not, where did you go? And that is hard for me because if I say I'm going to do something and I really want something, like I just make it happen. But it is maybe a personality trait. So how do you help people, where they need to grow that like or confidence or that willpower that like gets them through? I think it's just a matter of showing what you're overcoming in person and on social media. Like I don't let other people give up because I don't freaking give up. And I don't hide that about me or on social media or in person. I don't make things look perfect. I want people to know that the average everyday person, I live in a town of 1,400 people with 0 stoplights, in the middle of nowhere with no network marketing. I'm nothing. I am nothing except for someone who realizes that my life is freaking short. And so is everyone else's. So, as for those bonuses and stuff, I think it's just a matter of realizing, guys, like you get to start over every single day. And if you disappointed yourself and if you felt like, God, why didn't I do that? Like that's the worst feeling. Guilt is the worst feeling. And you know why we run away and we quit Lavelle when we don't earn our business? Because we hate the feeling of guilt inside of our body. It's just like when we don't work out, it's because we hate the feeling of the feeling of guilt inside our body that we didn't go. So what do? We just don't go because then we don't feel guilty about it. You see what I'm saying? So the human condition is that we just don't like feeling bad. But if you can take that and say, okay, that knocked me down. but I'm getting back. Just a matter of like, just keep going is a huge thing in this business, because you're going to outlast every single person that quits, outlasting all the people that just quit and didn't have it in them. And then you're going to still be standing. Do you know how that feels, you guys? When you have people knocking you down and life circumstances knocking you down from every single angle, and you were like, I see what you're doing here, and it's not going to work. You know, when I see challenges come my way, Lisa, I actually see it more as a, oh, okay, so you're testing me. I'm going to pass this test. You just watch me. And that wasn't me before, you guys. It took a lot of like moving through things or overcoming things or keeping a promise to myself, just like they talked about, you know, just like our speaker talked about at Thrive Palooza. It was keeping that promise to myself has built that confidence. I wouldn't have ever spoken like this on a Zoom, you know, 6 years ago. I didn't have that confidence. But connect yourself with the people. Right now, if you're feeling down, what I would suggest is you connect with people that are on a higher vibrant, you know, higher vibration than you are right now. And check in with them every day. Stay with them. Like when Lisa and I met up together in Texas at Maria's retreat, I'll tell you what, I've been doing this a while, and that changed my life one more time, because I'm somebody who holds back a lot of my fire because I feel like I'm going to be too much for someone. I feel like I'm going to push them too hard. I feel like I'm going to be too aggressive. Well, I had somebody almost not go for 200K last month in their bonus. She was just kind of piddling around, and she was within like $30,000. And I finally just said, Rachel, you got to tell her how you really feel. And that was because I was in a group with people like Lisa and Maria and Chastity and Chelsea and all these people that like, there was something about how high they vibrated in life that I was attracted to and inspired by. And I wanted to take myself to a different level. And so that is just so huge. And what I ended up doing and saying to my friend, I said, Amy, just tell me how you will feel waking up tomorrow at 95% of your goal. Once you think about that, then you decide if you're going to go for it or you're not going to go for it. But in my opinion, this is crazy talk. It's go time. Let's go. And I don't say that to people a lot. You guys, you probably do. And that's why you are where you are with 1,000 auto bonus earners, which is like a huge goal of mine. But for me, I don't let that out a lot. And that is something that I have changed. I changed in my business, and I changed it since just 2 months ago. So just so you guys know, we're all learning and growing, even as 200K is like, I'm in the same boat as you. Really no different at all. Just have it, you know, more people thriving with me. But man, what you learn and how you grow as a person, these life lessons are so valuable. Lavelle or no Lavelle.
Yeah, and it's so cool because like we've got so many people that are here to support you. I mean, even if you live in a town and you just started and you don't have anybody by you thriving, there's Zooms like this and tons of things to plug into. And even if it's not your team, there's usually somebody doing something. You just have to be willing to reach out and go, who can I connect with? And they say you're most like the 5 people you surround yourself with, right? I mean, it's hard not to pick up those vibrations from other people. And, you know, and you, like you said, you constantly have to be learning and growing and changing and pushing yourself. And here's the thing I know about Lavelle, there's going to be more bonuses. There'll be more next year or the next year or next month. Who knows? This company is always surprising us. But the one thing I know for sure is that it's never going to be your time if you keep starting and stopping. It
Yeah.
is never going to be your time, because it's just like, even now, people that got those bonuses, guess what? Some people may lose them. That's
Mhm.
okay. If you got it for 1 month, that's more money than you had in your pocket. Like, sometimes that stuff happens, but you keep going, you keep pushing, you keep going, because you don't know what's opening up that next door that's going to open. You don't know what's behind door number 2, but there's always something, like,
Yeah.
and it's just about keep going,
And
don't stop.
making the decision is the biggest thing. Do you know
Yeah.
why we don't make the decision because, again, we don't want to feel guilty if we don't make it. What if you just decided, you guys, in life, whatever you want, you're going to go get it. There is no other choice. Like, why are we so afraid to do that? Just making the decision. And you know what? I mean, if it doesn't happen, like it doesn't happen, but dang it, if you tried, I mean, if you said, I'm doing this and you went in hard, like you get to wake up in the morning and go to sleep at night feeling like a completely different person. Stop disappointing yourself. Like it's killer for your confidence, for just who you are as a person. Making a decision, it's like when you're shopping, you guys, like when you're scrolling on Amazon and you're like, I can't figure out what freaking pair of socks to get. They all look the same, but they all have weird reviews and they all, and you're scrolling, you can't make the decision. Like that's a horrible feeling inside, even just shopping for socks. That used to be me. And now I just make a quick decision. I'm done. I'm doing it. And just like how it changes who you are, and you know how it's going to change who you are for your team. Like your team needs you, whether you have, whether you're just, thriving for free right now, or you're a 4K, 12K, 40K, whatever it might be, they need you to stand up for this. Be their beacon. Be the person that has the confidence that they don't have yet. I was not here except for like following people in my sidelines, uplines, people on my team that they had what I wanted. They had confidence. And so don't shy away from hanging out with people that make you super uncomfortable. Super duper uncomfortable. It's like, I don't want to go to the gym because I don't want to see that really fit person that is going to make me do something that makes me really uncomfortable. And I don't know if I can do it. Like we do that all the time. You're doing it in business too, right? You're not showing up at the event because you don't want accountability. You're not getting on the Zoom because you don't want someone to see your face, think that you want something, and then you have to leave. It's all about personal accountability and just being there and showing up. And as you do that, your team does that, and then you start to grow. But
Oh
no
my
more.
gosh, your analogies are so good. Like I never thought about it like that. That indecision, like scrolling through Amazon and I've got 20 different socks in my cart and I can't make a decision. Like it's the
Stupid.
worst. And that's the same thing with your business. Like it's that indecision. And there's so many people on my team that were so far away from a goal and one month they wake up and say, I'm doing it, and they made it happen. Something
Yes.
they couldn't make happen for a year before, they decide in 1 month to make happen. And it's really, like you said, Rachel, the decision. They decided. And once it's decided, now it's just a matter of time. Now it's not, well, am I going to quit, or I'm going to put a date on my, like if I'm not 12K by 2021 November, I'm quitting. Like if you're going to do that, you might as well quit now. Like you just have to make a decision, decide, no matter how long this takes, no matter what roadblocks I hit, this is the place I'm going to. If that's in 5 years, then that's in 5 years, but this is where I'm going. And I think once you kind of take quitting off the table and make that decision, it then that pressure, oh my gosh, that release, like I finally picked the dang socks I wanted, and you cut the cart and you
Right.
pay for it, and don't you feel so good? I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, I
And
decided.
let me clarify, Lisa. I am a quitter. Like I was a huge quitter. I quit things that made me uncomfortable all the time, even since the time I was a little kid. If I couldn't do it good, I wasn't going to do it at all. I didn't want people watching me. I was shy. Like who you see today is not the same person that I was. So if you're sitting there thinking like, oh, that just must be Rachel's personality. Oh, heck no. No. It's transformed since I have started this and then actually started keeping promises to myself. But I'm no different than someone who's sitting there thinking like, I just quit again. I just quit again. I quit again. I did it all the time. But the thing with Thrive is, first of all, the products don't let you have any excuses. Like you don't get to not show up and do the Zoom or whatever because you're tired, because you're not tired. And if you are tired, you need to check your products and you need to check how you're eating and you need to check those things. But like you shouldn't have any excuses holding you back from being a rock star promoter and a rock star just person in general because of Thrive, the products. So I just wanted to make that point because I feel like people look at me and they probably look at you, Lisa, and all the time and just think, well, she's just a successful person. It's just what she, I mean, you got to look back. You got to go to my Facebook page and look back at what I used to look like, first of all. And second of all, like just, I was an Eeyore. Like I would show up on Facebook and be like, oh, I have a headache. I can't wait to go back to, back home to bed. The transformations
I'm
here are,
dying laughing right now because it's so true. Like, seriously, if people, I think they just make assumptions and we start comparing. I mean, I barely graduated high school and I was a waitress and a bartender. Like, I remember being that person on Facebook that was just like, woe is me all the freaking time. And like, I was you. I quit everything. I'd start something, I'd stop. I'd start something, I'd stop. And it just, Lavelle was a decision. It was, I'm doing this. This is my shot. Like, what other opportunity is going to come and fall into your lap where anyone, I don't care what your background is, what your race, creed, sex is, none of that matters. You could be an alien from another planet. And guess what? Lavelle is an opportunity that you can do. You choose what you're going to do with it. You choose if you're going to make money or not. And it's just about not giving up. It's so huge. I want to know, some things I like to dig into on this is kind of just like as much information as I can get in an hour. It's never enough time because I'm like, dang, I have like 20,000 more questions. But I would love to know. I think one of the things that happens to a lot of people is they run out of their network and they kind of don't know where to go from there. They're like, oh crap, like I'm not signing customers, promoters, my friends and family that were going to join me pretty much have, and they feel like they're stuck. And the more you grow, I mean, man, 5, 6 years in, I've been in this industry 11 years, and my daily routine is building my network. Like that is all that matters. And I think people don't get that. You can be on all the Zooms, all the products, know the knowledge. None of that is going to make a difference if you are not growing your network. How do you grow your network? What tips do you have for people on growing theirs?
yeah, awesome. Yeah, because I mean, the Zoom, they fill us up. I mean, it's like that fire that we need and we feel good, but like then it's get to work, right? It's like income producing activities. Basically, we are relationship builders. I mean, sales, that's what it is. I wasn't in sales prior to this because I liked sales. I mean, I get it's hard. Like sales is hard, but it's not hard if you think of it in the right way. Loving on people. I love people. And if you don't love people, I mean, there's some people I don't love, but like if you don't really enjoy conversating with people, this is going to be harder for you. For me, I'm a collector of stories. I want to know about everyone. I want to know everyone. So part of the thing that I do is everywhere I go, I'm talking to people. And it's not fake either. Like I'm having conversations with people because I want to know about their life. And I just love hearing people. So of course we're in when I'm out of town and I'm talking and meeting new people, I find a reason to connect to them. And it has nothing to do with Thrive many times. I don't use business cards. I just use social media. So, and I listen, like we're just listeners. We have to listen to what people are saying. In my Uber, on my way home from Texas, the gal's talking about being a grandma, and then she's talking about how like she couldn't lift up my suitcase to put it in the car, and I'm thinking to myself like, ooh, what's going on here? So I'm listening and I'm asking questions, and it turns out she has pain in her body, right? So the next thing I'm doing is I'm finding a reason to connect with her on social media. So then and just continuing to stay in touch. I'm a collector of friends. So thinking of yourself as a collector of friends is a totally different thing than who am I going to sell Thrive to next. So it's connecting to her and to everyone else connected to them. It's really not who you know. If you're somebody who hasn't been a collector of friends most of your life, like I have been, it's really who those people know, who they know, who they know, who they know. It kind of goes down, you know, down the funnel, right? If you're somebody who just feels like you don't know a lot of people, you don't get out of the house, you got to start knowing 1 to 2 to 3 people that do know a lot of people. That's really what matters. How are you going to do that? It's just finding people who have the like things in common with you. Personally, I don't care to sell Thrive or have anyone on my team that really isn't my cup of tea. because guess what? We get to choose. And so I connect with people who have the same interests as me, working out, running, camping, golden retrievers. I'm a mom of boys. Like knowing who I am helps me to connect to people who are like-minded and have the same things as me. So I'm always trying to find ways of how I can friend request somebody and have a conversation with them. I'm never thinking about how I can sell them Thrive, but I'm definitely thinking in the back of my mind that, how I could help them. We're helpers of things.
Looking for a need and fill it, kind of.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Yep.
like, and you know what I love about what you said is I think in our minds, we make it way harder than it is. And if you wake up every day and your mission is, oh my God, I've got to sign a customer or promoter, that's so much stress. But the way
Yep.
you said it, just be a friend collector. Like, I mean, it wasn't your goal getting in that Uber to sign that woman right this second. It was
Mm.
your goal to connect and build a relationship and then get them on social media. I mean, there's so many ways now to do this. Like I said the other day, it was Mother's Day, and my post was, thanks to my mom. She actually introduced me to network marketing. She did Avon, and we would go door to door. She would knock on doors and give people catalogs. And I'm like, that was hard. This is
Yes.
not hard. That
Lisa, my
was
mom was an Avon person lady too. Like I went door to door with her as a little kid. With a
Isn't it crazy? Like watching, like
oh,
she did that to make extra cash, like pennies. And I'm like, this man, the outlet that we have, it's so easy. But don't forget about those people you're seeing out and about, just like your Uber person. Like, don't just think that there's only one way to do this. I mean, I think I built my first business strictly through expos and events, like popping up a table anywhere I could because
yeah,
I needed to make connections. You have to make those connections no matter what. When you bring on a new promoter, like let's say I'm in your inbox today and I'm like, Rachel, okay, I think I want to do this. Walk me through kind of what that first 14 days looks like for that person, like what you do with them. Um, I mean, because obviously we can't make everyone VIP, and some will, some won't. But we got to do our best. We have to do our job to connect people and plug them in. So, what's kind of your routine?
right. I mean, I still use the funnel that I've used since I started, and again, not trying to make things any harder, just following the system of connection. They don't quite believe that they can earn a VIP bonus. That's a special person that like knows they're going to do it right off the bat, right? Most people don't have the confidence. They don't really know what they're doing. They're scared. They have questions. So it's going to be up to you to have a system and just really know, like, and lead them through it so that they feel good about it. So, I mean, I immediately go to, we're going to connect on the phone till 6 o'clock tonight work for you. And I'm putting them on the phone with my sponsor or somebody about me because I want them to hear another story and I want them to hear how an average everyday accounting person earned her VIP 800, 1600 bonus. So that they understand this isn't just for special people, this is for everybody and anybody can do it. So, and then we're actually, we're using our threads a lot. Obviously, the message threads are important because not a lot of people will get on the phone, but I am connecting them and asking them to post about it. And here's how I do it, especially for people who don't really feel comfortable talking on Facebook. I kind of put it off like, get on and make a post, just a couple, a sentence about how you're feeling and thank your sponsor. Say, thank you, Rachel, for introducing me to this because I feel so much better. And it kind of pushes it off on me to be the person instead of them coming out and pretending like they know what they're doing because they don't. And not everybody is confident with that. I did it all myself because I'm just more confident on social media and in person. But so we're starting with, making posts and getting out there and that type of thing, and then just having conversations. I really still push for, the bail people out of jail people, who are your 20 people that you could call if for some reason you went to jail. I still start my VIP with that because I want people to feel comfortable with who it is that they're talking about. But we do get out there and we do, talk on social media, and I just lead them through it because I want them to believe that they can do it. Just like my sponsor did for me. I didn't have plans to do that. and she led me through it and kind of pushed me through it. And then when you're done, you're like, whoa, okay, well, that wasn't so bad. What a confidence builder right away in the beginning of your business. It's so important to try your hardest to help somebody get their VIP.
Can I just say that was like such $1 million tip, you guys? That's what I do too. First post is always not I'm selling something, join my team. It's
Right.
always, hey, shout out to my girl Lisa, tag me, who introduced me to this awesome product. I cannot believe how good I'm feeling. Just a little snippet of what it's doing for you. And that is it. That blanket statement is going to get people looking. They're going to, what is that? And then, I mean, just so good. Like directing someone, because I mean, I think the worst thing somebody can do is go to Facebook going, hey guys, I'm selling something. Want to buy it? Like, that's probably not the way to start
Yeah,
out. But
that's
I
bad.
also love your other $1 million tip, which was get people in a message. Utilize third party credibility. They might not get your story. It might not resonate with them. Your journey might not be their journey, but someone on your team, and even if you don't have a team yet, guys, go to your team page and say, who here is a nurse with twins? I bet you there's someone in your group that is a nurse with, I mean, you're going to find somebody that's like that person. Hey, would you mind if I put you in a three-way real quick? Those are $1 million tips. It's those little teeny things right there that can raise belief in a person. Someone that didn't think they could get a VIP bonus to now thinking maybe I can. If this person did it and they're like me, maybe I can too. That is huge, absolutely huge. Speaking of like income producing activities, like I think a lot of people don't, they get caught up in a lot of busy work. Like, they're on this Zoom today, and that is amazing. And that it's self development. It can grow your business as long as you get off here and actually start applying some of the things you're learning to your business. But just getting on this Zoom is not going to grow your team. And you've got to apply. And I think a lot of people just get so caught up in busy work, they're not sure what should I be doing every day. If you were new or you've been in 6 years, what do you feel are like 3 or 4 things every day, no matter what, it doesn't matter, that are income producing that every person on here should be doing?
Yeah, I think, never stop having new conversations with new people. You know, like Paul always says, if you're just talking to your team, it is income producing. I kind of am, I'm like I love my team, but I also know like this is also my business and I have to grow. And you know what? That's not selfish, because do you know how much I was able to utilize waiting room last month to help two of my personals hit 12K and that type of stuff? Everything I'm doing is personally, and helping someone grow is helping a team member of mine, right? So I believe that, having new conversations with people, and I think that we always think like it has to be like, hey, have you heard of Thrive? And it's not. People want you to be interested in them. They want you to like them. They want to know that you think there's something about them that is special. Like, it's basically just kind of thinking and going through your list. I mean, I just have lists of people all the time. I'm not the most organized person. So just let me tell you, like, you don't have to be all organized and all this stuff to be a rock star at this. You have to have something different, which might be that you work really hard having conversations with people, but organization has never been my thing. But I have names of people, and I'm always going through those names, and I'm touching back on them on a daily basis. I'm posting in my team page on a daily basis, just making sure that there's interaction and connection there. And I'm trying to come up with different. I'm keeping in mind like what other people have, people that have goals, and asking them for their goals and those types of things. So that's kind of where I'm at, is just keeping at the top of my mind on a piece of paper who has goals on my team, because not everybody does. What are my next goals, and who am I talking to on that day? And I just never give up on people, you guys. So just keep in mind that when you're talking to someone, like, you could have conversations, like 20 different conversations with them. But I will say that what many people are missing is the ask. Who are you going to actually ask to buy Thrive today? So who have you had conversations with maybe 5 different times? And you can say like, hey, here's the deal. You were on my mind when I woke up this morning. Honestly, you were just the first thing that came to my mind. What is holding you back from giving this Thrive a shot? Ask questions. Ask them why they haven't purchased yet. Don't be afraid. The last thing that they could, they could just say like, I don't have the money for it. I mean, oh, well, like it's not personal, right? I don't take things personal. I know that I have the best thing since sliced bread. I believe in my Thrive experience so much. And if you don't, you need to work on that as well. You need to work on how your products are actually working for you. What's your story? Because I'm right now in between bonuses, you guys, and in between trips, right? That's where we're at. If you're kind of a bonus chaser, and I'm a carrot chaser, I'll just be honest. Like I chase trips, I chase all that stuff. So what am I doing in between? Well, in between, I'm building my bucket of all the people that are going to be in there so that when Lavelle announces a trip, my bucket is full of people. It's full of people that I've been talking to for a month. That's what we're doing right now. So kind of like in the down periods, I mean, earning trips and bonuses, that's exciting. I chase, that type of stuff. But in between, what's going to keep you excited? I'll tell you what, you got to think about what's happening next with Lavelle when the next new product comes out. Who have you been talking to? So build your bucket. And I just think of it like, I'm weird. I think of it as like a big whiskey wine barrel in my mind. That's what I see. And I'm just like throwing people in there every single day. I'm getting people in that. So then when something happens with Lavelle or there's a sale, I have no problem finding the people. So right now you're just you're building your network. And that's what I would really concentrate on doing, writing down their names, getting them free accounts. Who cares if they buy Thrive? Just get them a free account, get them, and then move on to the next person. It's just move on. But again, whenever someone's ready, they're ready, right, Lisa? And then you're there for them.
That's all there is. Like, I hope everybody's hearing this. Look, I mean, I'm so happy that we get, 200, 300, 400 people on this Zoom sometimes, but I would be much happier if you all were filling your bucket, like with those people, because that's what's going to grow you. You can love Thrive. I always say you could wear 10 patches a day, be Thriver of the Year. Unfortunately, you can love Thrive till the cows come home and have the best story ever. But if you are not sharing that story, and if you are not filling your bucket with new names, there's just no place for you to go with this. It's just not going to happen. And you got to get over that hurdle. Like you said, Rachel, you got to go for the ask. It's already a no. It's a no because you didn't even say anything. What are you scared of? It's an automatic no when you don't ask. So if it's still a no when you ask, then so what? It was already a no. But guess what? What if it's a yes? And what if that one yes is your next 200K? It's your next Rachel. Like you just don't know, and you're never going to know unless you go for that ask. But like you said, Rachel, you're building up connections, building relationships. And if you're truly doing that, then it's not uncomfortable asking, hey, I don't know if you've ever seen this Thrive thing that I do. And I can't believe I've never brought it up before, but hey, if you ever, I'd love for you to check it out or start a free account, or hey, I mean, it's just ask. Most people are like, oh yeah, I want to know more. Or most people are not rude people. They're not. It's hard to get an outright no.
I think people want to be asked. Like when people aren't asking me to buy something, I'm like, what's wrong with me? Why don't you want me? People don't ask. I'm like, I have money to spend, right? It's like Pretty Woman. I have money to spend. Why are you asking me? Don't be afraid to ask me. I love that. I love people with confidence. I love good salespeople. I love someone who has enough confidence to say, I believe in my product and I'm not going to let you go until you experience it. Like, how much do people think Thrive works if you ask them once and never again? Must suck.
Right.
Right? Like,
I couldn't have ended this any better. Like, yeah, I mean, like if you are truly in love with something in your life, you can't stop talking about it. Like no matter what that is, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to do this again or go here or do that. and we don't think twice about telling people, but all of a sudden we get this roadblock in our heads because we're actually selling it or making a profit off of it. Like, you guys, so good. Oh my gosh, Rachel, this was so good. I just am so blessed to be in this company and to have people like you that get on this for an hour. And I mean, it's probably not even, it's mostly not even your team. And for you to take time out of your day to do that and not make a dime off of anybody, because that is the good people that we have in this company. We just want people to see people succeed. We don't care whose team you're on. We want to help, but you guys have to take the advice that Rachel gave today. These little teeny snippets. I mean, from your story, Rachel, even from the very beginning when you spoke and said, how many times did somebody have to talk to you before you said yes? That is a golden nugget tick. I mean, like, you can't give up on a person, and you didn't want to sell it. You didn't think you wanted to sell it. How many of you have heard that? Like, throughout this entire Zoom, there was so many little golden nugget tips. And if you guys get off here today and just take these little tips and keep them in the back in your back pocket and pull them out when you need them and actually do the do. Oh my gosh, do the do and you will get the get at some point. You guys, it's just so good. So Rachel, oh my gosh, thank you so much for hopping on today. I wish we had like
Lisa.
3 more hours. I gotta continue to pick your brain for a long time, but I'll have you on again. I will have you on again for sure. But I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Ditto. Thank
Thanks,
you.
thanks. And for all you guys, thank you for showing up every single Tuesday. I appreciate you. You guys know my goal. I keep saying it, 500 people to get on this Zoom. I think we've reached like 400. Dude, share it. Let everybody know. It's every Tuesday, y'all. This link, same time, same place, same link, just different speaker. And it's so good. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but every Tuesday I get off here and I've got a little fire in my belly, and I've either been reminded of something I've forgotten to do, or I learned something completely new. And if you think you've been in too long to learn something new, then you need help because you can always be learning new things. And I hear things every week on the Zoom that I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so good. Or, oh my gosh, I haven't been doing that and I need to get back to that. Even just those reminders. So you guys, thank you for plugging in. It is payday. It's auto bonus day. It's a great day. Tuesday's a great day. Enjoy your paychecks. Enjoy your loved ones. Happy week. Hope you guys have the best one ever. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday. Thanks again, Rachel.